Hey kids, welcome back to String Cheese and Applesauce, where today we're going to do another Lego build video. Today we're going to build the Lego Ultra Agents Infearno Interception set. You can see over here, this is set number 70162, age ranges 8 to 14, 313 pieces. Plus there's a free app. Now the app is not in the box, obviously. You have to go on the www and look it up on the App Store. So you can see we also have the two minifigures. We have the Ultra Agent and the Infearno. So tell you, it talks about the app, and here's where you go on the www, the World Wide Web. Check it on your App Store or your Google Play, and be interactive online with this toy. I like the idea of making a toy, and an app, I don't really care for blending the two together, but if they want to try it, they can. I won't be getting the app. Let's just put it that way. There's the contents of the box. We have a bag one, a single instruction book, a little mini sticker sheet. So I may be putting those stickers on, and a bag too. So 313 pieces, that makes about 156 pieces per set, per bag. So let's start with bag one. There's all the big pieces. And I felt like something just fell. I guess not. I have two little bags of pieces. I guess this is the medium pieces. And this is the small pieces. We got a lot of trans orange and trans blue, trans light blue. So it's like the Chima fire and water type thing, fire and ice. So let's look at the two minifigures. Well, let's look at building them. So remember, this video is just the build only. We're going to do a review of the set and look at all of the details a lot more closer and in depth in the review. So this is definitely where you need to be if you want to try to build this at home or try to get new building techniques. Can't find his little hairpiece. Let's move on to Infearno, like there's no fear. Oops. Oh, while I'm looking for a part of Infearno, I found the agent's hair. So there's our first minifigure. Gray-haired agent. So he must be a senior agent. So Infearno has got this crazy leg and torso printed piece. The furious face and the little hat of fire, and he has a little piece on his back that is more or less going to be his little fire element. Alright, so that pops on his back like that. Oh, and we're not done yet. He also has flames shooting out. They're being held on by these little clips. But we're not done yet. He still has, last but not least, a couple bundles of dynamite in his hand. This bad guy is crazy nuts with his fire, his explosions, jetpacks, which I'm having a hard time keeping together. There we go. There's Infearno. He looks furious. And then our Ultra Agent also has this newer style of stud launcher. It launches the orange studs, trans orange studs. Alright, so there's our two minifigures. Got them out of the way pretty quickly. Let's move on to the Infearno's mode of transportation, which is a hoverboard of some sort. The giant flame shooting out the back. Here's our little board that goes on there. So there's the whole completed bad guy. So the rest of the pieces are all for the Ultra Agent vehicle. So this is definitely a good guy set, to say the least. So if you're all about fighting the bad guys, this is a pretty cool set to get, because it is pretty much just the good guy vehicle. Alright. Got some Technic pieces. Which I'm a fan of. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to ask people who likes Technic. And show them a lot of examples of good uses of Technic pieces. Because I like the blend of Technic and bricks together. Just personally. Alright, so there's kind of the beginning of the chassis. So now we're going to build a separate little sub build that involves, you guessed it, more Technic pieces. So you see we've created this little arm element that hinges, and then we have another connection point here on this blue little bushing piece. And what we're going to do is put this in. Right there. Okay. Next up is this long 9 length axle. We'll put a little ball on the end. And these Technic bricks that have pinholes, slide that axle all the way through, and you see it now, it connects with that little blue connection point that I was telling you about. So now you can see pushing on the red ball pushes up this little arm element. So that's going to translate into some sort of play feature. And the only way that that was accomplished was using Technic pieces. Gotta love that Technic. So even as I build it up, I still like to check to make sure that the function still works. Because if you accidentally put a piece in the wrong spot, now you can see that that function no longer works. But if I remove it, you can see now it still works. So as I'm building stuff with Technic, and especially if it has a built-in function like this, I always like to test it, just to make sure that I'm not building something wrong. All right. Still works. So you can see I put those 2 bricks there, pretty close to being covered, and it still works. Next up is this round plate with some decoration on it. Now this instructions say to put it right over our functioning piece, but then the next page shows you that when you push that thing, the little plate pops off. See if it does or not. Yeah, it took a lot of pressure, but it did come off. Maybe if I don't push it on there too hard. Yeah, it still pops off. So that's pretty cool. That's our play feature. Remember, kids, don't shoot your eye out. Some more Technic bricks. Now we have a lot of this light trans blue color, kind of the ice or water looking pieces. Next up, looks like a engine piece. Let's see how this is going to work out. Pretty cool little. So we're just kind of greebling this up, just putting a lot of random, not too random, but pieces that make it look like some sort of high-tech engine compartment. And then we put it right here on the side, just like that. And looks like we're going to go ahead and do the other side as well. Real similar, just kind of a mirrored copy of it. Okay. And there's that one, and it goes. Alright, they don't show it turned. I'm gonna turn it. The instructions are a little bit confusing. I just made it less confusing for you by turning it this way. Okay, there's our two side engines. So it's still facing this way. Let's see, let me do this first. There. These long slope pieces. Next up, some sloped bricks. Standard brick. And some more of these round tiles. Just an absolute ton of them. Go. All right, that's it for bag one. really a lot of pieces left over from bag one. You can see a lot of it is Technic. Well, not too much, only 4 of the pieces. 6 of them are not, so that's one of those little gun pieces. So, just stuff that you would typically get lost, or that you could potentially lose, I guess. Not saying that you would lose them. Now, on to bag 2. Got some really big pieces in this one. I love these low profile tires. I think we started to see some of these in some Technic sets. It's pretty cool that we're seeing them in non-Technic sets as well. You can see how big those rims are and just the real little bitty profile of rubber. Kind of looks like some street racing wheels and tires. Really cool. Now the wheel is nothing new. Pretty sure we've seen this wheel before, but they usually put the bigger, thick balloon tires on them. Alright, so we do have a small bag in with the big pieces. And we have a lot of these satellite dishes. 4 of the solid black ones, and then we have 4 of these trans light blue little satellite dishes with the pattern cut in them. So put those to the side. We have a big light blue windscreen, and then the trans light blue medium satellite dishes. And there's our small stuff. And here we go. First thing, they want us to build 2 of these elements. So these slope bricks, and they are sticking out horizontally from the model. That's kind of unorthodox way of stacking a brick. It's actually sticking it on the side of the model, not necessarily stacking it. Okay, we have a little sub build next. Have this hinge with a Technic axle, or a friction pin, I mean. Couple grill elements, the top part of the hinge. Then we have our spring-loaded missile launchers. Don't shoot your eye out. And we have some sloped pieces. Now these slopes are pretty cool because they are actually the kind of pearlescent chrome plastic. It's not like chrome, like shiny chrome. It's more of a dull but kind of pearl colored. You can see there's a little swirl kind of in that slope right there. So it's a little bit shinier than your typical dark bluish gray. But it's not like mirror shine like a true chrome piece. Alright, so there's basically this front element that we created. Connects right there. I guess it's really the back element. Alright. Next is a few little Technic connector pieces. One on each side. Now we have a couple more Technic assemblies to build. Get to use our little low profile tire. Put a cone in there. And one of these dishes. Oops, I forgot to put something on. I was wondering why there's a little bit of room in there. So I forgot to put this little pulley wheel on there. So the pulley wheel is on. Now all of this will fit back together. There we go. So that trans blue dish is kind of like the hubcap. So we have one, and we're going to build another one. We have two identical ones. So we put the axle with a stop in there. We have half bushing. The pulley wheel. The rim with low profile tire. Trans orange cone. And our trans light blue medium sized satellite dish. So take both of these, attach them. You can see that little axle piece sticking out right there, and then this axle connector connects right to it. And that's what creates our rear wheels. Not a bad little detail. So now we're moving to the front. We're going to put on a couple friction pins and friction pins with axles, orange cones on the pins with axles. And this little Technic element attaches to the front of those friction pins. Another little Technic sub build. So we have this too long, thin lift arm, and then this little cam gear. cam gears look like they're molded with this different kind of plastic. I wonder if they changed that. These attached to the little axles that are sticking out on the sides. And a couple more of the thin lift arms. This will prevent them from turning to a certain extent. Bunch of little Technic pieces on this one. Alright, next up is the front axle pieces. And before I do that, put that piece back on, fell off. Alright, the front wheels. So we start with this little axle assembly. We do have to make two of these, so I'm going to kind of continuously make both of them at the same time. Almost done. Okay. So here's where we use all of our satellite dish pieces, the big ones. They're actually going to be our front wheels. So I stack one on top of the other, and then they fit perfectly. See, there's an axle hole right in the middle, right onto that axle. And it does turn. Actually, it turns really well. And we have a axle connector right here on the end, and it'll tie into each one of these exposed axles, just like that. Next is a couple of exhaust pieces, maybe. We'll find out. And these are also the pearl gray plastic. With a pearl gray double wide mini bow. Building two of the same thing. So these are little gun slash wheel guards, fenders, side fenders, I guess you'd call them. Then we have our front windshield, which kind of goes on reverse. It's hinged on the front. That's kind of interesting. And we have our little exhaust pipes, which connect to these blue exposed friction pins. And the pipes are actually really hard to get on because each one of the grooves catches on the pin. It makes it difficult to install. Put it on the friction pin side first. All right. Good enough. These things are really hard to get on. And while doing that, I popped one of these pieces off. Next up is our spring-loaded cannons. So these are pretty cool. They thing sticks out back here, and you can actually click on them. You can see it pop those out. But in theory, what you do is you push down this spoiler and then launch them out. I don't want to launch them because they actually do launch pretty far. So there you go, that is it. We have our Infearno, and we have the Ultra Agents vehicle. Oh, here's the extra pieces that were left over from bag 2. We also do get an extra spring-loaded missile because you could potentially fire it off behind the couch and lose your missile. Put our agent in here. There you go. That's a cool little build. Tell me what your thoughts are on this set. Do you have it? Do you like it? Was it easy for you to build? I felt it to be about a medium difficulty with all the technique. Especially for a younger kid, it could be a little bit difficult. But for experienced builders, no matter what age you are, I think you'll find this to be a pretty fun little build. A lot of different cool building techniques. Some cool pearlescent pieces. So hey, thanks for watching. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, String Cheese and Applesauce. We had pictures of this set before it was even up on our YouTube channel. So follow me on Instagram. You'll be in the know on things that are coming up on the YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to share with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And we will see you next time.